desafiando a los dioses. Con intensidad luchemos, no te rindas aun si perdemos, más fuerte será.
What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If here, and today I'm going to be doing a what if that basically I wanted to do. This is what if Issei was the reincarnation of Son Goku, part 2. Now, before we even get onto that, I just wanted to say this. I don't know why or whether he did or did not delete those videos, because it's very weird the fact that he deleted them after I did my video on telling you guys to actually go look at his video and decide for yourself. To decide for yourself whether he's telling you the truth or not. But for some reason, he deleted them. I don't know why. I guess you gotta go ask him yourself, since, you know, he wouldn't want you guys to not know a secret. Would he? I don't know. It's just a little confusing. Just a little bit, you know. But either way, I guess... I guess he's being a coward right now, as usual, but... after all that stuff is said and done, here's what's going to happen. Basically, after all is said and done, pretty much Issei was given the staff that he had, and he remembered, you know, fond memories of it and all that stuff. And now Issei has to, you know, has Issei being talked to right now by freaking, you know, Rias. Rias talks to him about different things. Not only that, they talk about whether or not, pretty much, if Issei is going to, how should I say this, fare his first time with the whole, like, other demon who had bigger gazongas than freaking Rias. Now, I don't know why, but Issei, well, technically I do know why, Issei's going to say, heck, why not? This is going to be fun. This is when Rias says, Issei, can you please be serious? This is actually something dangerous if we're not careful. And this is when Issei says, alright. And this is when they go see the lady, and the lady's actually, you know, how should I say this? She's very, very excited. You know, just pinching herself and all that stuff, gripping them, gazongas, and all that stuff. After that, all that's said and done, pretty much Issei just goes and sees, how these, all the people fight. And basically, after what Kiba told her, Rias, which I do not know whether she's a girl, whether it's a he or she, but I did put down on the poll whether it's a he or she, and the results came in as 44 of you out of the votes said yes, you want Kiba to be gender bended, and you know, she'll look actually cute, you know. So after all that's said and done, pretty much Kiba is a she now, and she tells freaking Rias that, you know, after fighting with Kiba, she deducted that Issei is actually pretty well off in the strength department and in combat, which she says, alright Issei, show me how strong you are. And Issei just grabs the staff and just starts fighting with freaking, pretty much starts fighting with freaking, what's her face? I forgot what that creature was. But yeah, they do start fighting. Issei just smacking her straight across the freaking face. And after that, kicking her. And Issei is wondering why is he this strong. He was strong before, but for some reason his body somewhat got stronger. This is when Ria says that she gave him pieces. She gave Issei evil pieces, and she explains about the whole chess system. And Issei, being not only 2 queens, 2 rooks, but 2 also knights. Not only that, then a bishop and a freaking pawn. Now, why did I even put all those 2? All these things? Well, the bishop is a healer. And Issei knows chi and ki, which he will understand how to use. Well, basically that. And knight is pretty much because Issei knows how to wield a sword. He understands how to wield a sword, although that's not his forte. His weapon of choice would be the bow staff, or the elongated staff. Queen, well, because he's actually pretty powerful, so something needs to be filled in, and the pawn pieces would break if she were to just say, okay, let me just give him pawns. Oh, wow! They exploded the moment I put the chess pieces inside his heart. Wow, what a shock. So, Issei is actually much more tougher and kicks her in the freaking face. Not only that, does an uppercut strong enough to actually make her feel uneasy, or basically make her gasping for air, and not that way, because that would be a weird thing to think about. Issei just keeps smacking her with the freaking pole, hitting her head, cracking her skull a bit, and after that, just just blocking and parrying her attacks. After all that stuff happens, Issei just somewhat does a fist, punching the freaking lady, or the evil person, or whatever her name is, and pretty much burning her stomach for a bit. This is when she's knocked down for quite a while, and this is when Issei just says, alright, well, I don't know, to be honest. I could kill you, but that's not my role right now. And basically does like a triple flip and lands right behind Rias. And pretty much this is when she says go to hell, and then after all that stuff happens, she destroys that. And now we basically go to the whole point where Issei and her talk for a while about how good he is as an actual combatant. And yes, he does understand how to do combat. That is his one main affinity. Combat. He understands it. He lives through it every single day. He trains his body. He trains his mind. That is the way of Issei. That is the way of the newer Issei. Now, after all that stuff happens, pretty much Issei just gets out, and the others get out. And the whole freaking fallen angels thing, yeah, they did not know this was going to happen. So their time was kind of weird. And probably a couple of days later, they meet Asya. Now, Issei basically talks with Asya, and she, flashes those, I don't know which ones they were, whether they're striped, laced, or polka dot, but I think they were pure white. Why? Because she's a holy lady. Oh boy, that's so funny. I'm sorry. But anyway, pretty much Issei just explains everything, and they actually hit it off. Pretty much she heals this kid, but this is when basically her skirt's flying a little bit up, and this is when Issei just says, your skirt, and she says, oh, I'm sorry, and all that stuff. And pretty much Issei says, don't worry, let me get this. And pretty much starts, rubbing his hands together, burning them, and somewhat creating a little bit of fire, and somewhat holding the kid's legs, and actually healing it, the rest of it, which is known as chi fire, which is actually something that was used for healing, or that is what some people did back then. Now, this is when Asya says, wow, that was pretty good. And, Issei says, yeah, I do my best. It's not like I'm a demon or anything, and somewhat my chi abilities understandably stronger. After all that stuff happens, pretty much Issei just... Well, they talk for a while. They do talk for a while. Issei, just takes her somewhere, and after that stuff, she trips because her clothes were not all there. Well, her clothes were there, but her clothes were falling out of her suitcase, which dropped, and pretty much, let's see, how should I say this? Oh yeah, pretty much Issei was just strong enough to handle it. And pretty much when all that stuff happened, this is when she trips, and like I said, he grabs her, gets a little bit of the opie, and, feels it up for a couple of seconds. Him saying he's sorry, and, he didn't know what came over him. But this is when she says, it's alright, you don't have to worry about it. You helped me out in the very end, just doing all that stuff. And this is when Issei's all like, wait, what? Hold on here. You're okay with it? Don't say that in front of me. I'm not that kind of a person to do that, you know what I mean? Just doing that, a little bit of jabbing. A little side-to-side action right there. But this is when, basically, they start walking, and Issei feels this unease. And pretty much, freaking Issei just, how should I explain this? Well, I know how to explain this, but let's say this. He starts to feel uneasy. And basically, the more that he starts going there to the church, the more he starts to feel this pain. The more he starts to feel like he knows he's going to fight. And pretty much, how would I say this? Give me a second here. Now, hold on, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So pretty much, he stops in front of the church because he was trying to be nice. But this is when he knows that something's wrong. He feels this ominous presence towards this whole church. This is when basically, whatever his name was, I forgot, I think his name was Siegfried. But yeah, when Siegfried, just says, oh, you must be the person who's talking, or who took this sweet lady and brought her all the way over here. That is such a nice thing, young man. What is your name? My name is Issei Hyoto. I just came to take her and walk her to the church. You have a good day. And this is when, basically, all that stuff is done, and yeah. But not before throwing something to the other side of the room when Issei, or not when freaking Siegfried wasn't looking. But because his hands were up in the air, just saying, bowing down, pretty much Siegfried did not understand this, but Issei threw a soap, or some kind of water in there. Why would he throw water in there? Well, because he wants him to slip. Because he knows this guy is somewhat evil. He can sense it. He has sensory abilities. And not because of the pawn pieces, but mostly because he understands how to sense chi and ki. And that is a thing for him. But he used this tail. Which, yes, I am going to... How would I say this? I'm going to say it's a tail because basically Son Goku and Goku from Dragon Ball Z basically... yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. He has a tail. That's all I can say right now. So, Siegfried did not look. He slipped. And after all that stuff happened, he is just done for right now. So, couple of days later, they do their whole thing. Issei goes and talks to freaking Rias. Rias tells him, "Oh, hey, I'm going to need you to go here, here, and here. Issei went here, there, and there. And then he met freaking Asya. Well, not Asya. He met Siegfried. Siegfried attacks Issei. Issei actually dodges and punches freaking Siegfried in the face. How do I say this? Yeah, pretty much. Issei just somewhat dodges, and yeah, he punches him in the face, grabs his staff, and actually starts attacking Siegfried. Siegfried is trying to shoot at him, but Issei is just actually dodging side to side. And this is when he hits Siegfried in the chest and in the face with the staff, and after that, slamming it down on freaking Siegfried's head. And this is when Siegfried shoots him in the gut, actually making him feel very sick, making Issei throw up. Because holy water was induced to that thing. And Issei starts to feel that pain, and he's just sitting on the ground. This is when he starts to get back up, and fire starts to emit from him. This little aura of his, pretty much not golden, not fiery, but black. This is when he starts to punch freaking Siegfried. Siegfried dodges, and they attack each other one by one. Issei is just dodging and punching, while Siegfried is just moving around, shooting, and slashing. This is when Issei gets shot at, but Issei just jumps up in the air and pretty much throws his freaking staff at him, landing at the wall. Siegfried dodged the staff, but gets kicked at in the face by freaking Fallout. Not Fallout. I'm sorry here, people. By freaking Issei. Oh boy, I'm going to be... that's not the point. The point is, Issei just punches him, and after that, they start fighting again. This is when Issei just throws the staff, grabs him by his freaking foot, and grabs his two hands. And how does he do that? With his freaking monkey tail. This is when freaking Siegfried finds out that it was him that did it, and now he's putting the pieces together. Siegfried kicks him with the spare foot that he has, but not before Issei throws him off balance by removing his footing, by slipping his tail, by flipping his leg. So Issei just does that, and pretty much Issei just does his work. He just does his thing, and says Kamehame. Asya actually just sees what Issei's doing. And this is when Issei just sees her, and he feels a bit of shame. But this is when he says, I'm sorry, Asya. I'll tell you later, but this guy is evil. We can't do this, alright? Or we can't talk about this right now. Trust me on this. And this is when he looks back to see his two kneecaps getting shot at by freaking Siegfried. And right now, he's on the ground, just causing a lot, crying out in pain, and trying to get up. Pretty much, Issei doesn't know what to do, but he knows that he has to do something fast. So, running at freaking running at freaking Siegfried with very slow footwork, since Issei actually got shot in the kneecaps. It'll take a little bit of time for that to be healed, since Issei can't be healed right now. Siegfried just slashes at him, cutting a part of, slashing at his arm, slashing at his legs, slashing at his stomach, and slashing at his shoulder, and slashing a bit on his face. And doing an X mark on it, so he basically has an X on his freaking cheek. And this is when Issei just says, why would you do this to them? They were just innocent people. And this is when Siegfried says, innocent people? Guess what? These are just sinners. These people deserve to die for what they did. And this is when Issei says, what did they do? What did they possibly did that was so horrendous that you had to do this? They made a contract with you, buddy. And this is when basically Issei just figures out that he's still not getting it. He may be a devil, and devils don't do this, but not everybody understands that devils aren't evil. In the High School DxD, I'm not talking Christians. I'm not talking anything about bad about the Christianity stuff. Whether you want to talk about it or not, guess what? I'm not... Wait, what? Did I just do a little... Never mind. Sorry for the little powwow chow here. But, here's the thing. Issei understands now that even though devils aren't as evil in the DxD universe, he understands that to them, the devil is still a devil. But this is when Asya just, protects him, and she gets punched, because this is the same guy that walked her. And she says, why didn't you actually think about what's called doing the barrier? Not only that, why would you walk with a sinner? And this is when, basically, Issei just gets a little bit mad, and he's starting to burn up a bit. And this is when he gets his freaking hand out of the wall, because technically, Issei was kicked to the point where he landed in the wall. He couldn't get out of there for a while, but now he just runs towards him, jumping with all the force that he has left, and punching him straight into the freaking jaw. And this is when Siegfried just tries to get out of there. And this is when the rest of the team starts to come out. And Issei says, oh, good. Alright, you guys. Take Asya and go with them. Asya, I'm sorry, but I will explain everything soon. We just gotta get you out of here. This is when Ria says, I'm sorry, Issei, but we can't do that. She is a priest. Not only that, she's a human. We can't take her with us. And Issei says, why not? You can take them with you. This is when pretty much Issei just gets back up, but he's bleeding again, and pretty much on the ground feeling his pain. Siegfried throws his sword on Issei's freaking back, which almost hits his freaking spine, and this is when Issei just cries out in immense pain. They're trying to take it out, and when they try to, basically Issei just cries out even louder. And this is when he roars with his anger. Pretty much a little bit of a weird orange, yellowish aura just gets him rising up, and pretty much looking at freaking Siegfried. He just charges at him with max power in his left fist, and pretty much this is when a barrier's put up all the way due to the fact that Siegfried was working on it. And when he punched, pretty much it almost broke the freaking barrier. This is when Siegfried just says, I don't care about this anymore. I'm leaving. It's a good thing I called the party, though. This is when they all have to go. This is when pretty much Issei just grabs onto Asya's hand. And Konako says, don't do it. Because this is when Rias tells freaking Konako not to say it. And this is when he says, alright, we got you. And this is when he says, everything's going to be okay. And basically, the old cliche, Issei cannot actually take her. Or take him. No, wait, take her. Take her, actually. I kind of messed up on there. Oh, sheesh. Kiba tells Issei that because she's not a devil with us, or not even, she's a priest, or basically a holy lady, she wouldn't be able to come either way, so it wouldn't work. And Issei, knowing what Siegfried did to her, knowing the fact that she's all the way over there, and Issei could go there right now, but he's too weak, just gets very mad. And explodes, yelling so powerfully, the fact that the whole freaking occult research club, or basically the outside of there, because they usually are there, basically it starts to shake, and a lot of books start falling out, and all you see is just tears streaming on freaking Issei's eyes, because he's sad at the fact that he failed to protect somebody. And Issei is just on the ground crying. Pretty much his aura is showing out. the chi all around him is growing a bright freaking black. And how does it become bright black? Simple, really. It becomes a bright black because it turns also red and yellow. Somewhat, his aura, the auras all around him are just somewhat spiraling out of control. And pretty much, they're all trying to stop him. But this is when Konako just knows that she kind of messed up. And she walks towards him. And yes, this is going to be more of a... he's going to be more of a caring person towards Konako and Asuya for a couple of reasons, but, you know, either way, let's go. And go we did. Go we did. And here we go. Issei was being held by freaking Konako, who was strong enough to hold on. And pretty much he stopped because he knew that he might hurt her. And pretty much she just pets him on the head and just says everything will be alright. And Issei says that he screwed up. He should have helped her while he had the chance, but he was too weak to do it. Issei saying that he is so sorry to her, and I think this would be sad that, how should I say it? Let's see. Give me a second here. Okay. So basically, Issei is kind of sad because he knows that there's something that's within him. And yes, there is technically something within him. A tattoo that's stopping Issei from going full on chi and ki mode. Pretty much something exactly the same as the bracelet that he has on his arm. And why does he have a bracelet on his arm? Well, because of Son Goku always somewhat doing a couple of things wrong. Basically, this is why Sun Wukong has a bracelet on his arm. Because, basically, of their trickster nature, they were told to always wear these things, and it would stop. And it does stop. I never brought it up, mostly because of the fact that it's not as important, but it holds a lot of weight and value to it. So, with all that being said and done, pretty much Issei just, does his whole thing, walking around after being healed, and reflecting on his actions. If he was stronger, if he was much more faster at what he did, if he didn't get sidetracked, he would have been able to save her, but he didn't. This is after that, Issei meets freaking Asuya, and Asuya's there to actually help him out. Or not that, Asuya's there to actually talk with him. And Issei just gives her a hug. He hugs her like there's no tomorrow. He hugs her because he knows that he screwed up. And this feeling he has for her, he doesn't want to let go. This is when pretty much Issei just talks with freaking Issei talks with Asuya, and pretty much they go on their date, and he holds her at times. Asuya, knowing that Issei cares about her so much, she basically tells Issei that she's happy that he's there with her, even if it's for only a day. And Issei just says that he's going to protect her, and he's not going to give up. He needs to become stronger, because even though he's strong, his power's not fully there yet. And this is basically when Drake, because his bracelet is on his left side, while his dragon is in his right. It's a weird combination for having these two, but when freaking Rainier comes back, Issei just puts out his freaking dragon arm, and then actually just goes a little bit, like, furious. She coming around him again, and this is when he says, "What do you want, Rainair?" And, no, he doesn't say that. He says, "What do you want, Yuma?" And this is when she says, "Yuma? Oh yes, I forgot about that. Yuma. Well, you should know that Yuma means sunset, or sunrise, or whatever. That's the time that I killed you. It was actually a pretty fun time going out with you. It was entertaining, at least. And believe me, you actually made a couple of moves." It's been a while since anybody's just ever done that and had the balls to do it again. Or who would ever... How would I say this? She says all that. You have balls to do that. And you even have bigger ones to even fight me. This is when Issei says, "Well, of course I do. I don't like you at all. I did once, but that was because I was just happy of the fact that I found someone. But now I should have chosen better. But what do you want? Surely you want to kill me again? After all, you didn't kill me the first time, so I guess you want to finish the job." And this is when pretty much Rainair says, "As much as I want to at least splendor in the fact that I want to see you in your demise, you're not my target. So, I decided, why not just grab the person who I needed, but at the same time knowing that you might try to protect her and be a superhero. The choice is yours. Either give her up, and I won't kill you, and you can take what's left of your dignity, put your tail between your legs, and just run away. Or would you decide to fight me?" This is when Issei just starts running backwards. And this is when Asya just tells Issei... Asya tells Issei something, but here's the thing. She won a toy, which was basically that little weird bear thing. And she also won one that was a little monkey. Which, it has no weight to it, but it makes it actually kind of happy. It makes Asya happy, because she knows that Issei's a monkey person for some reason. She doesn't know why, but yeah. Pretty much, Issei does all that. And this is when she says, "Oh, look at that. That's pretty nice. Leaving you. Who thought that man had balls? Well, I know now he's a coward." But this is when Issei just somewhat is on the air. Why? Well, because he just grabbed a tree branch, and just somewhat pulls himself down, and then jumps so high up that she didn't actually see him. And this is when basically she is just saying, "Why don't you come with?" And Issei just smashes her in the head with the freaking thing. And this is when basically Issei just smashes the freaking pole on her head, cracking her skull a little bit more than last time. And not only that, her being dazed, Issei somewhat broke the freaking staff. And he says, "Not again! Oh man, they're going to be so mad at me." And this is when he's seeing something. Something comes out of the freaking pole, or the staff. He realizes that the thing is hollow, which is weird because not all staffs are hollow that way. They usually have it to the point where it's mostly filled, so that way nothing can break, or something can't be broken easily. But this is when basically Issei just sees what's coming out of it, and it's a cloud. It's a little fluffy cloud. And Issei says, "That's kind of weird. Why does this feel so familiar?" And this is when basically the cloud just somewhat speaks to him in a way where he understands. And he says, "Oh, how do I understand you?" This is when Asya says, "Wait, are you talking with a cloud? And this is when he says, yeah, I don't know why. She says, alright, I'm just asking. And this is when Issei just says, wait a minute. Can you go fast or go places? And this is when the Nimbus says, yeah, sure. Like, it doesn't say it, but it just somewhat finds a way to say it. And this is when Issei just says, so do I get on top of you? And it basically nods its cloud. And this is when he says, alright. Jumps on top of it. And this is when he says, pretty much, he says to freaking Asya, to actually go with him. And, well, she tells freaking Issei that, he tells freaking Asya to go with her. Freaking Asya says, alright, and they basically somewhat start flying. They don't know why. And basically, Issei is saying, this is actually pretty fun. And Asya's just closing her eyes and just, burying her freaking head on his chest and saying that, yeah, I'm going to just stay right here for quite a while. There's no need for you to go too fast. And this is when Issei says, don't worry, I got you. And this is when freaking Rainier is flying towards them. This is when she starts throwing a bunch of spears. The Nimbus is actually pretty fast. And pretty much, it's just going round and round and round and actually just somewhat doing its thing. When suddenly, she throws it basically 3 anywhere. This is when the cloud does not know where to go. And this is when she basically gets it on her sights and throws it. The Nimbus is actually trying to get away from it, but it hits it. So this is when Issei and freaking, how do I say this? This is when Issei just is falling down into the ocean or to a pool. And this is when she throws another light spear. But this is when Issei just blocks it with the freaking left hand, which has the bracelet, and says, ha, wait a minute, this thing didn't actually break? Weird. Oh wow, that's kind of creepy. That's evil. I don't know, that's kind of evil. Oh, wow. And this is when freaking Rainier says, how did that thing just block it? And this is when Issei just says, yeah, I really don't know these days, just I do my thing. And basically this is when he just starts to get mad, and say, you're not going to take her with you. She deserves a good life, and that life is not serving you. And this is when she says, oh wow, you're going to stand up to me again? This is when Issei just throws a freaking energy blast and pretty much says, how did I do that? That was so perfect. And this is when basically she just blocks, she's about to block it with the freaking spear. But this is when she does not know this, but Issei just somewhat opens all the freaking particles of the energy, and all of them just start hurting her. Issei just somewhat running with her. Basically, both of them are wet, but Issei's still fast enough to run. And this is when she just throws another spear. Issei just blocks it, and pretty much deflects it back in a way, to the point where Rainier gets hit, and she gets hit on her shoulder, and part of her wing, and she's actually falling, and Issei is just now getting out of the way. Now, Issei just goes to the Occult Research Club, and Issei gets, well, he's about to get smacked, but he's dodging a couple of the smacks. And she's saying, why did you bring her here? Now they're going to try to come here and attack us. And this is when Issei says, good. I've been waiting to take care of all of them. And this is when pretty much she says, wait a minute. You were waiting for this to happen? And this is when he says, yes, I was. And this is when she says, wait a minute, why would you do that? Who gave her permission? I am the queen. Well, technically, I am the one who is. I am your master. And yeah. I know, Rias. I am your servant. But a part of that, a part of me being a servant, is to actually do good still. You may not know this, but I'm still a monk. And I always will protect the world. Well, I have to protect the world in more ways than one. But enough about that. I know one thing's for sure. I'm not going to leave them. And neither should you. I'm going to protect Ozzy on my own if I have to. Because if I just let somebody be used as a tool and to be stepped on by forever, I don't think I'll be able to live with myself, even if I am someone from hell. This is when Asya just starts to smile, and this is when Rias smiles as well and just says, "Alright, you're the one who's going to take care of her." Wait, what? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. If that's the case, you're going to have to actually fight for what you believe in. So get ready. We're going to have to do a lot of freaking fighting. After all, they are coming by here, and knowing the fact that you took something from them, yeah, pretty much this is going to be because of you. So, well, that's pretty much all I gotta say. And this is when Issei just says, wait, oh boy. Alright. Let's get this on the road. And this is when pretty much Rias just says, I'm glad you see it my way. This is when freaking Issei says, yeah, your way was still bad. By technicality, I don't want to hear you speak about something like this, because I don't want to hear it. But either way, we gotta protect her. And this is when basically a couple of fallen angels start to fight, and a bunch of people from a cult start fighting, and this is when Issei just starts to charge. Why? Well, because all the members are there, so pretty much Issei is just now having to do what he's supposed to do, and they're pretty much fighting in the middle of nighttime, well, in the middle of the night, and Issei is just blocking and dodging a lot of them, pretty much hitting them with his freaking dragon fist, and also his freaking the Shaolin lock, which actually locks Issei's hidden potential. And why would I say that? Well, pretty much, let's just say that a Buddhist monk came from another part of the town and actually offered to put this lock on freaking Issei, so that way he can never unlock that true power within him, because they do not know if he's worthy or not. And Issei just starts fighting them, pretty much attacking, dodging their hits, taking them out, and not only that, protecting freaking Asya. While the others are attacking as well, Kiba and Konako are pretty much fighting, and the two girls are actually doing pretty well. Not only that, Siegfried just starts to chop in, and hold on here, I think I have to sneeze. And give me a second. Whew, that actually hurts a lot. Now, pretty much that all happens, and yeah, Issei just somewhat gets he gets happy. And he's happy. And why is he happy? Well, mostly because of the fact that pretty much Issei is just now charging up his power and just somewhat taking them out one by one. This is when Rainier and the other fallen angels start to fight, and Issei is just somewhat dodging a couple of their attacks, when somebody just picks Issei up into the air. Issei uses his wings to try to rotate them or somewhat maneuver them somewhere else. But this is when they just grab, someone else grabs them by their arm, and they basically stop, because this is when they start to fly even faster, and Rainier flies towards freaking Issei, and kicks him straight into the back, making him actually pop a few bones. And this is when he feels this, and starts to breathe very heavily, because this actually hurts him a lot. Pretty much, they just let go of him, and he falls down to the floor. And pretty much, a lot of his team just sees him like that, and they start fighting even harder and reaching towards Issei. Issei knows that he has to stall them a lot, and after all that stalling, they pretty much help him. And Issei's trying to heal his back, and this is when Asya goes there, and pretty much they trust her because she has no ill will, because they know that she cares about Issei, or at least they know due to the fact that they fought and see her not actually doing any harm to him. And this is when Rainier just uses a couple of magic spells, and they start attacking freaking the rest of them. This is when Akino just, uses her freaking shields. And pretty much Issei just sees the fact that they're all attacking, and they're all defending, going towards different areas after they find out that Issei's healed. After all that stuff is happening, Issei is somewhat happy that she's there. And pretty much Issei sees the rest of them get hurt. And Issei is just getting mad, seeing that, him charging up his ki for a little bit. And give me a second here, people. I don't know what to say after all that. Now, basically what all happened is Issei just sees pretty much all of them getting attacked, like I said. And Rainier and the other ones just all point at freaking Issei. And this is when Issei just sees what's happening, about to dodge, but this is when he knows that freaking Asia's there. And this is when Asia knows what she has to do, and she pushes him. And Issei is on the ground, and he's somewhat seeing everything that, how would I say this? She just takes the full frontal of it and gets exploded, and pretty much her just getting hit. After that, she's on the ground, pretty much passed out, actually being hurt so badly she might be on the brink of death. And Issei just powers up even more within anger, because she knows that Issei, how would I say this? This is kind of like Super Saiyan 2 in a way. Pretty much after freaking Cell just smashed freaking 19 in the head. This is when Issei just sees her on the ground. And yeah, that's what happens. He gets mad and roars out of anger, because he now knows that Asya might die. And why? Because she told him everything. She told him everything about her past, and how, because of her, it was her fault that she wasn't actually a better person. Or not a better person, per se, but the fact of the matter being that she wasn't actually good at doing what she usually did. She protected a devil, and that protecting the devil led her to the life of this point. She could have been somewhere else, actually saving much more people, but no, he saved her. Someone who was tricking people all the time. And Issei just gets mad. And he gets really, really mad. To the point where his eyes are just no longer there. His eyes are there, but his pupils are not. Even the parts around him, all you can just see is the white part. And this is when Issei just roars and pretty much just looks at them. And they just see how powerful he is. Chi and the Ki are all around him. Yellow mixing in with blue. And I'm not saying he's turning Super Saiyan God, but he's somewhat turning into a powerfuler version of himself. Pretty much a fusion that combined now turn him into this. This is when basically Issei just jumps up straight into the freaking part, and he slashes somebody with his freaking hand. Just karate chopping somebody. Felt like a blade was going past through them. And they are just scared because that just happened. Not only that, he was quicker than the eye could see. And this is when pretty much he grabs the guy. He grabs the guy with the trench coat because he was a part of it. Grabs him by his neck and throws him down to the ground, shooting off a bunch of ki blast. And after that, just pushing both of them with just his ki alone. Pretty much pushing them away so that way he could just charge in for freaking that little girl. And pretty much he just punches her so hard that she is just coughing up blood. The woman right there, the woman that was there, the other woman, not Rainier, I forgot her name. Pretty much she is just throwing a freaking light, a light something, whatever that thing is, the light spear, and pretty much Issei just smashes it by grabbing it and just crushing it under his fist. This is when she says it's impossible, and Issei just says Kamehame, and then just says ah, and pretty much a beam of light just passes through her. And after that, Issei's arm, well, his dragon arm, is pretty much powerful. It actually changed and wasn't used for a long time, but now because he's now mad, he pretty much has that power, and it's somewhat changed to the point where now Issei is just charging towards freaking Rainier and actually just trying to hit her and hit her and hit her and hit her and hit her, just doing combos on her. And pretty much Rainier knows that she has to keep blocking, otherwise she might get hurt. And Issei just somewhat punches, but misses her because she dodged. And after that, she stabs him in the freaking gut with that. Issei gets stabbed and starts coughing up blood. But then Rainier thought she was safe. But this is when he grabs her by her freaking throat. And they're flying down. And Issei is just landing on the ground while holding her in his freaking grip. And all of them see what's happening. And Issei just summons a freaking chi energy and just somewhat infuses it with fire. And after that, pretty much somewhat puts it on her face and just somewhat just burns it with 1,000 degrees, even higher than that, just burning him with black and red fire. And she's basically dead. And Issei, that was right there, sees the guy with the freaking trench coat. And I really don't remember his name. But this is when he just somewhat tries to fly off. And Issei just, grabs a bunch of energy in his fist and just shoots it out. Pretty much causing it to explode upon impact. And Issei just grabs him and pretty much just throws him down to the ground, breaking his spine. And then he meets that one girl who was there. And he sees that she's just a young lady. He sees that she's just a little girl in his eyes. And this is when Issei just says, nothing much, to be honest. he does not say a word because he knows that after Asia's death, he feels this rage that he was going to kill everything that hurt her after he failed to protect her, after he said he was going to protect her and screwed up. Of course, he would feel that way. Someone who loves someone long enough feels that way. And Issei does not know what he can do. And pretty much I'm not going to play the music because it's been copyrighted a lot, to the point where I might get monetization strike. So I'm not going to play that sadder song. I will try to find another sad song, so don't you guys worry. I will try to find one. But this is when Issei just says nothing much and just smacks her in the face. Pretty much smacking her in the face so many times. And this is when they're taking care of them, because freaking Rias and the others found out that there's more of them, so they're just taking care of them. Siegfried and Kiba are still fighting. Konako is pushing back everyone. Pretty much Akino is there doing whatever she can. And Rias is just showing them who's boss. And he's smacking that one girl so many times. And she starts crying because his smacks are not soft. They're hard. And pretty much he just smacks her so many times to the point where she just admits defeat. And this is when she starts crying. And Issei says, I know everything there is to know about actually having my own servants. And because of what you did, I should just kill you right now and torture you if I want to. But I'm not going to do that. I'll just wait. And wait. And wait. Unless you just surrender and say that I am your new master. Because Issei now knows that because of what happened, he's never going to get the one person that he cared about to live. And this is when, after all that happens, pretty much he makes a pact with her, and she's a part of his family. His family, technically. And her Dark Angel wing turns into one of the Devil wings. Now she's a Devil and Angel. Or Devil and Black Angel. Dark Angel. Fallen Angel. Crap. So, after all that's said and done, Issei just looks down and pretty much says that now he lost Dacia. Someone he cares about is lost. And that's what makes it even sadder. The fact of the matter being that he doesn't know what to do anymore. And this is when Asia actually is still alive. And pretty much they talk for a while. Issei's so happy. But this is when she is starting to pass out again. This is when Rias talks to Issei and says, Don't worry, Issei. I have this all figured out. I saw that she had a power within her. And I don't know what it is, but it looks like Twilight healing. It's a weird version of a healing. It's a weird healing gear. And yeah, I think we can use another bishop. Well, I think we need a bishop now, or at least a authentic one. Only one bishop. So, how would I say this? Well, how would I say this? Pretty much, Akino is told to bring her a chess piece, which is technically the bishop. So yeah, that's pretty much it, the bishop. So with all that being said and done, they basically, put Plant 1 inside freaking Asia's chest, and she's reborn back to a demon. Issei is holding her, and was pretty much they're like, stop trying to hog her and all that stuff. And Issei just freaking grabs that person's hand and gently lets it go and said, no one touches her. This is my woman. And pretty much all of them are just shocked. And Issei is dead serious. He's looking at them with mad eyes. Because that weird instinct to protect someone just somewhat flew out of him. And pretty much they say, Issei, it's going to be alright. You have nothing to fear. I understand that that kind of it traumatized you. And we are sorry. But let us help you. Alright, Issei? And Issei just somewhat reverts back into his regular form. Oh, hold on. He reverts back to his regular form. Basically, the red hair is no longer shining up fast. Not only that, his whole body is not burning. Not only that, his attitude changes a bit. And pretty much holds her and says that he's happy. Now, Rias just uses her freaking lightning thing. Or the lightning palm. Just smack that girl 1,000 times. After what she did. And yes, pretty much Issei is saying that this is her servant, or his servant, so they have no need to worry about this, because it will be okay. He's going to discipline her since she's just younger, and pretty much the same age. And all that stuff happens, pretty much. Yeah, all that stuff happens. Now I'm going to end it off here because I know that I gotta go to work tomorrow. So, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout with here. And also, how would I say this? If you guys do watch the whole thing of this, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to give up, because I know that you're truly lying now. And me and Patrick are going to do a segment, so that way we can show you how serious we are. That just because now you're trying to let this go is not meaning we're going to let this slide. You're going to be punished for what you did, and we're going to do it with class. We're just going to talk to them about the lies that you said in general. So that way we can let this all go. You said I wasn't 100% wrong. I was 100% and also 100% right. You said that I was lying about threatening me, that I lied for some reason, or lied about what's called reporting me, which is still not going to work because you don't actually have proof. Not only that, like I said, it doesn't actually work like that. But if you want to try, heck, go for it. It's going to be funny though the moment you're wrong. But yeah. So this has been the Fallout with here. Bye.